Thank you all so much for being here today for our Queer Sunday School panel. I really appreciate you guys. Let's start with some interviews. Let's start with Androgyny. Androgyny Angel.
Look, as Miss what's her name? What's her name? What's that drag queen name? Alyssa Evans. When she went back on RuPaul's Drag Race, I'm back again.
Period. I love it so much. Thank you so much for being here today. So tell us where you're from, what's your zodiac sign, and your pronouns, if you like.
Well, I don't go by pronouns. You can call me he, you can call me she, as long as you don't call me bitch, asshole, whatever. I'm good with what you good. I'm good with the pronoun. My sun sign, my sun and my moon is Cancer. My rising sign is in Virgo. I am originally from the Metro Detroit area. Now I'm in Houston and about to get the hell out of Houston to get to San Diego.
Period. I love San Diego. So what kind of work do you do?
I am a self-love educator. So I educate people on how to love themselves in their most authentic self via healing their inner child and via balancing their masculine and feminine energy.
I love that. I love that. So what is your mantra? What keeps you going when you're stressed?
I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna fucking do it.
I love it. I love that so much. And the last question I have is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
There's two. I want to be like Storm. I want to be able, well, actually, no, that's one. I want to be like Storm. I want to be able to fly. I want to be able to control the weather. And that's just because I'm a water sign. I'm a water baby. So yeah, if I can have any power, I would have Storm's power.
Oh, weather manipulator. Okay. I can see that.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna go to Arrows.
Hello, everybody. I will be thinking in ASMR. Love you all.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I said I will be talking in ASMR. The way my voice is set up, it is not. I am struggling. But I am so honored and glad to be back 2 weeks in a row. Grand rising, everybody. I literally woke up 15 minutes ago.
Thank you for joining. All right, so where are you from? What's your zodiac sign, and what pronouns do you use, if any?
All right, so in that order, where am I from? New York City. Originally from Brooklyn, but I'm now living in Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen area. My zodiac sign, I'm in an Aquarius, so air is all around me. And what I was my name is fine. And what was the last question?
Your pronouns.
Oh, sorry. What was the last question? Oh, my pronouns are anything with respect, but if you are going to call me a bitch, put a Mr. or Mrs. in front of it so you remember who you're talking
to. Understood.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, let's go to Christopher.
Royal Rising, everyone. My name is Christopher. I'm originally from Phoenix, the hot summer state. It's probably 100 degrees already out there. Originally from Phoenix, I'm now in New York. My zodiac rising, I don't know my rising, but sun sign is Capricorn, and my moon sign is Gemini. So I'd be all over the place. And then
and your pronouns.
He, him.
Okay. Okay, you know what? So I just realized that I totally forgot to ask Arrows more questions. I was totally. There's
It's the ASMR.
okay. I'm so sorry. Let's go back to Arrows real quick.
So in light of
You're
that, our next question is, what do you do for work?
So I own and have created my own sexual wellness and sexual positivity company called the Garden of Eden. The last night was our official launch party. If you weren't there, you missed the performance of a lifetime. Everything went exactly how it was meant to go. People showed up who were meant to be there, and I felt so much love and admiration from everyone that I was about to cry, but I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry here either. I want to cry when I go back to sleep. But yes, that is my number one profession. So if there's anything people need sexually, whether it's somebody to talk to, somebody to try stuff with, or a product they're looking for, please let me know. I can offer the Sunday school a special 20% discount. So just so you guys know.
Good.
Oh, yeah, that I guess that brings us to our next question. So what's your mantra, if you have one? And
I do. It's actually, so my mantra has always been fight your traumas before you fight me. Only because a lot of people feel like when you talk to somebody, if you're giving them corrective actions, they feel like you're their parent, they feel like you're their abuser or whatever. And I respect that and I honor your healing process. So go heal over there. And like Androgyny says, get your act right, and then you can come out with conversation.
I love that. So what keeps you going in the face of adversity? I know you just had this successful business launch. I'm sure some of that was filled with adversity. Can you speak on that?
Honestly, what keeps me motivated to keep doing this is the future. My God, kids, but I have godchildren, and I have my family, and I want to make sure that the day when I do decide I have my own child, that the next generation is taken care of. So even if it's meaning, listen, yes, I'm going to be a sex worker, loud and proud, but they're going to eat off of this. And I'm going to do it in a way to where nobody has to degrade themselves or feel less than for doing so.
I love that. I love that. That brings us to our last question.
Oh yeah, I came to
Yeah, love that. So if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
It would always be teleportation. Like every time you guys ask me this question, that answer is not funny. And the reason being, listen, again, I love to travel. I love to go different places. I don't want to pay to go. So if I can go for free by any means, let me get there.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Thank you. Thank you. So we're gonna move.
Welcome. Thank you guys.
Yeah, move back to Chris.
Yeah, Chris. So Chris, what kind of work do you do?
So I am a pretty much anything during the day and at night I'm an actor. I've been acting for about 10 years now. I started in Arizona and made my way to New York. I just came back from in Pennsylvania. And so yeah, that's actor, light worker, yoga, meditator, all those things.
Okay, period. I love that. And the same question, what's your mantra?
It's funny, as I'm becoming more developing a social media presence, I did a show in Harrisburg. It was the last show that I did before I had to get out of there because it was getting a little messy. Was Black Nativity by Langston Hughes. And you know, God's plan, they threw me into this role of the elder. Now, I'm 37 years old, but I do not consider myself an elder. So I had to take that on because that was what was given to me. And not in strife, it was given with love and trust. And so, you know, in the midst of that, walking into a room with all the actors, all, you know, designers, dancers, choreographers are people of color. It was such a magical, you know, experience. But, you know, I'm standing up there playing the elder, you know, playing the act. And throughout the show, the mantra was, God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. And, you know, you say it, we did like, you know, 2 shows, but rehearsal after rehearsal, it starts to sink in. And then you start to look outside yourself and you see that God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. So that's my mantra.
I love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Mhm.
So if you could have any superpower, what would it be? And why?
I got enough of those.
That's the question is which
Some
one?
of the stuff I got like, shoot, from a very young age, I had visions, sights, all of that stuff. And, you know, it's just now starting to sink in that I can control it. It doesn't need to drive me crazy. Because when you can, in many aspects, see people's aura, see what they're about, hear what they're about, even though what they're saying is the direct opposite, it's like, you know, but we're coming into a world where more people are able to see the truth. And so I feel very grateful that like I got to experience it, you know, growing up, you know, little Black boy and seeing everything. And now I'm ahead a little bit. And it's nice to see everybody else is stepping on up.
I love that.
Talk to your ancestors, y'all.
So let's go to intuitive. Can you tell us how to say it? Oh, wait, you're muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry. Hello, everybody. So it's Intuitive Swole, or you can call me Intuitive.
Intuitive swole.
Okay, do the swirl. Okay.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. So where are you from? What's your zodiac sign? And what are your pronouns?
So my name is Intuitive Swole, but my real name is Dijon. I am originally from California, but I am currently in Las Vegas, Henderson to be exact. I am an Aquarius sun sign. I'm a Gemini moon, and I am a Cancer rising. And my pronouns is he and him, but I'm not offended if someone calls me girl or something. It doesn't affect me negatively.
Cool. And what kind of work do you do?
Well, I am an intentional chef. I currently work as a chef for MGM in Las Vegas, but I also have my own cooking business called The Soul Eats, where it's geared towards being more intentional and aiding people and having more connection with the food that they make and they eat and consume. Also have a spiritual business where it's called Vivid Lotus, where I do readings. I'm a spiritual life coach as well.
I make herbal blends, I dress candles, and I aid people in whatever intentions that they have, good towards their healing.
I love that. It's dope.
Yeah.
All right. You guys don't forget to type in the chat your websites and all that good stuff. So share that out. So what's your mantra? What keeps you going when you're having a bad day?
So my mantra that's really stuck with me leading into this year has been trust the process.
I love that. Trust the process. And the last question, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
If I could have a superpower, it would have to be probably like time control. Processing so much and dealing with like so much energy. Sometimes I just want to just pause, like just stop everything. I don't want to affect like, you know, the timelines or nothing, but I would love to just like pause and like take a break and then kind of like come back to it. So that's what I would like to have if I could have a superpower.
Okay, all right, I see that.
Love it.
Okay, well, I guess we'll just move on to our thank you guys, first of all. Thank you all so much for sharing, letting us get to know you a little bit more. And so I guess we'll move on to our panel questions. Yes. Okay, you go.
So
We need some transition music.
Some transition music.
right, that'd be nice.
There you go.
All right, so we'll start with you, Androgyny. So what does faith mean to your heart and your soul?
Faith is trust. It is complete and utter trust in someone or something or a being. It is release. It is, oh gosh, it's release, control. It is surrendering. All of those play a part in what faith is, but at the end of the day, faith is complete and utter trust with your life, with someone, something, some being.
Love that.
Thank you so much for sharing. Arrow, same question.
Faith to me is personal, like in the sense of you can't dispute my faith. You can't tell me what it is or what it isn't. It is mine. It belongs to me, as yours belongs to you. Be into whatever God or way you do worship your God or gods. That's great. That is your personal relationship with them. I can't tell you what to do there. Faith is believing in everything and anything that will manifest itself in a positive life for me, and acknowledging those that can affect me negatively.
Okay.
Yeah, so Chris, can you answer the question? What does faith mean to your heart and your soul?
Just listening and kind of like taking in what you guys are already sort of like saying. I do agree, and I'm trying to add more of it because it is a personal relationship. It is that release and like giving up to surrendering to a higher being or power, but I also feel like it's a vibration, like it's a communication between you and that being. There is a, I liken it to spirit. If you are in tune with your spirit, that is faith. That essence that leaves the body when you move on. It's that. Once you're in tune with that thing, then that's faith to me. Because if you can sense that, everything else is the journey is so much more joyful because you are aware of where you came from.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
And Intuitive, the same question.
I feel like faith is a personal relationship you have with yourself, and with your life and with your experiences that you have. Faith looks different for everyone. And I always encourage people, before you select a religion, before you join this group, to really allow yourself to understand who you are. Because, I see faith like baking a cake. You have the ingredients, you're putting in the work, but you have faith that that cake is going to bake. You have faith that it's going to work in that way. So in life, if you don't feel like you have the ingredients or you're capable of being able to make the cake, how do you have faith? And so I just believe that faith is something that you build. It's something that's connected to the unknown. It's something that you will never be able to know surely what it is, but the fact that it matters to you, and the fact that it's created whatever it is that you're looking to grasp or be faithful for, has created such a dynamic within you, is worth moving towards. And I feel like that's what faith is, something that fuels you. Faith is something, it's like an inner knowing. It's something that, it's a knowledge that's divine, that is downloaded to you, that you don't need a map. It just leads you, and just trusting in that process.
I love that.
Yeah, I definitely resonated with that. Yeah, thank you. So Androgyny, can you share a personal moment when you had to rely on your faith?
Going through it right now.
Let's
Going
hear it.
through it right now. Long story short, it's a total of 4 of us in my family. And the next oldest, the one that's right above me, we're estranged. Me and my sister are estranged. She has 2 sons, my babies, my boys, and we don't talk. She does not want me in her life. And at this point right now, do I have faith that she's going to, quote unquote, get her some get right? No, I don't. And that's okay. It's okay. That's her journey. But do I have faith that my boys are going to come back to me? Oh, yes, I do. Throughout this purge that I've been going through this week, I've had ancestors come and talk to me. I've had spirit guides come and talk to me. And they all said, you know what? Don't worry about your sister. Don't worry about her. She's teaching you detachment. But your boys, know that your boys are coming back to you. Now, we're not going to tell you when. We're not going to tell you how. We're not going to tell you where. But your boys are going to come back to you. And when your boys come back to you, know that you're going to have, I hate that I'm going to have to do this, but you're going to have to teach them how to deprogram certain things that they were taught by their mother. So at this point, when it comes to faith, I just know my boys are coming back to me. I just have to sit here and I just have to let them go through their experiences. I have to let them go through whatever it is that they have to go through. Let me continue to do what I do. Let me get my family together. And when the time comes, my babies are going to come back to me. Now, my sister may not like it, but hey, oh well. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So for me, that's what I'm going through right now when it comes to faith. I know it's going to happen. I just have to be patient.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I feel your faith working for you. Like I'm feeling like I have no doubt that that's working out. I mean, I'm certain. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. So what about you, Eros? Can you tell us about a personal moment with Faith?
Last night, so I had work. I came home, took a shower, and I went right back and I went to the event. And this is an event I've been planning for months. Like everything as far as promoting, getting the merch, getting the right people involved. And I had to learn to just let the events unfold and let the cards lay where they may. And again, like it's such a proud moment because things did go wrong. Like it wasn't the perfect party, but it was my first, and everybody understood that. Plus, a person in the scene, they passed recently, and for me, I felt like I inherited their role, and I never met this person. I knew very little about them, and to have all of their people come out for me and show love for my event, for whatever the reason may be, for my friends from like day one to now see my growth, I had to have faith. I forgot who said it in the process. I had to literally just let everything be what it is. And I told everybody, do not tell me you're proud of me until after the event. Let me see exactly how everything falls out. And my faith in my friends and in my community and in the people who I love really came back the way I was hoping it would. So that was my most recent moment with dealing with faith.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. I love faith in people. Sometimes we have a hard time with that. Well, I don't know about everybody else. I'm not going to speak for everybody else, but I know me, I can have a hard time with having faith in people. And
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm right there with you. No, my faith in people has throughout the years has kind of wavered, but I want to just keep my circle small, and just letting go of what my wants and needs are, and just allowing the real people around me to show up the way they did. It opened my eyes that yes, I have room enough for everybody, but that doesn't mean everybody has to go with me. Like one of my old business partners actually showed up. Like this could have been us had we had more faith in each other in our process. But again, the cards landed where they were, and I am happy with my turnout.
Congratulations again, by the way.
Yeah, it's special.
So Chris, what about you? Can you share a personal moment with Faith?
I mean, how long we got? For real, I'm not even joking. I mean, just thinking about it and hearing everyone and trusting the process. I mean, again, I'm originally from Phoenix. It's been a wild ride. And ups, hills, valleys, all of it. And the trip from Phoenix to New York wasn't a pretty one. It was me flying out in the middle of the night. I was with a partner who was into drugs. I didn't know that at the time until he smashed my taillight with a bat, and I was like, something's amiss. Those who don't know, methamphetamine is very prevalent in the gay community. And he was on it and coming down fast. And I tried my best to, you know, my birthday is Christmas. I was always told, you got some Jesus in you. So you know what? I'm always trying to be that person to lift and love and hold up. But he dragged me down all the way to the jail cell. and then I had to, trust my faith that was saying, it's time to go, Chris. It is time to go. And no matter how much you love someone so completely, and see, I still do, but when you hear that voice that you trust that says it's time, certain people, certain places, certain things, when the wave comes in and he sweeps them away, you have to have faith and trust that it's because they needed to leave. Something that's important that I always think about is God sees things that we don't, but he'll give you a message or a little spider senses that's saying, you shouldn't be around this person. You shouldn't be doing these things. And that's when you hold on to your faith. And I flew out to New York with less than $100 to my name. Would I do it again? No. No.
I was about to say.
Thank you. But did I do it then? Because that was that time, 2014. And I've been here almost 10 years. By the grace of God, I go forward. And that's faith. I'm still here. And you know what? I'm stronger, better, faster, wiser. You know what I mean? Because I held on to that little bit of faith that was like, New York is home. As soon as I landed here, I was like, oh my God, I'm home. And that feeling has not changed. You see me in the streets, I'm probably doing a twirl in New York because it's home. And that was only possible because I listened.
Yes,
Yeah.
I resonate so much with
Yeah,
that.
I definitely resonated with that. I mean, you were telling my story, in some ways, and it's that little faith. So thank you for being vulnerable. Yeah. So that brings us to Intuitive Swole. Can you share a moment where you had to rely on your faith, and how did that experience shape you, and what did you learn from it?
Yes, I can. So it's all about my move to Vegas. So I ended up moving from California and moved to Vegas. And I was really established in California. I feel like sometimes we put in these prayers, or we put in these intentions, or we set ourselves to manifest, but then we forget that we nourish seeds, you know what I mean? And that they're unfolding right in front of us. And my mindset was such on the negative that I really just didn't focus on faith. And I think that's normal. Life gets heavy. So when you just hit, setback after setback, you kind of start to expect that. And that was like the energy that I was in. I was never really a negative person, but I always just prepared for the worst. And that blurred my vision, because had I just been faithful in allowing things to reveal themselves to me, I would have been able to have more, enjoy myself more. I moved over to an apartment complex, and it was just a lot going on moving there. However, that apartment complex in Vegas, it has grass, it has trees. I was able to be around the same energies that actually align with me. And if you guys know anything about Vegas, there's not many places that has grass or has trees, especially like apartments. There's usually like rocks, like stucco and things of such. We have a dog park. We have in the house now, but I had a dog park, I had a pool, I had a gym, I had all these things, but I was so focused on life that I'm like, everything you prayed for, that you guys said you guys wanted to upgrade, is here. You guys may have wanted to upgrade in Los Angeles, but that wasn't meant to be where you were, or meant for you to be there, And so I was shifted in another space. And so my faith, and what I'm like attaching to this conversation, is being so focused on like controlling the process, where you don't allow yourself to be faithful and co-create a process. And so that was my dynamic last year. And that's why I said in the beginning, I'm saying trust the process, because faith is co-creation. And you have to allow spirit, God, creator, to be able to aid you. And you can't force it, and you cannot rush it, And if you allow it to fall into place, then you allow yourself to fall into grace. And so that's pretty much my answer.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that.
There you go.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to you, Androgyny. So in what ways do you face obstacles maintaining your faith?
Oh gosh. Okay, wait. First, Christopher, as far as him going to New York with $100, I understand what you're saying. That's how I got to Texas. I caught a plane. I had maybe about $1,500 in my pocket. No job, no nothing. And I've been in Texas for 13 years. Well, going on 13. So I get you. Obstacles, gosh, that inner saboteur. That inner saboteur, that ego. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, we all need our egos. Everyone needs their ego. But it's about balancing it. And when you don't balance that ego, that inner saboteur comes. And when I say it comes, it hits hard. My inner saboteur is a bitch. It is ruthless. So that is the biggest obstacle that I deal with when it comes to faith is that little, I call it that asshole. Oh, that's not gonna happen. You know, you're not gonna get out of jail. You're gonna go to prison. You're gonna face 20 years, you know. Your nephews aren't coming back to you. You lost them. You lost them last lifetime, and you're gonna lose them this lifetime. So it's that. And what I have to do is I have to put it in check. I have to put that ego in check. And sometimes I can put my ego in check very nicely, like, hey, just sit down and let me show you. Let me show you what's gonna happen. Other times I have to get with it. Look, shut the fuck up. Sit your monkey looking ass down. And I'm gonna show you how the fuck we gonna do this. You just sit 10 rows back and just shut the hell up. You know, sometimes we gotta do that with our ego, and that is okay, you know? So with me, I have to put my ego in check. And as far as how I strengthen my faith, it's just you taking it moment by moment, not minute by minute, not hour by hour, not day by day, because sometimes a minute can feel like an eternity. But if you just take it moment by moment, it strengthens, it cultivates, it grows. So now that inner saboteur is starting to calm down. It's starting to shh. So for me, it's just a moment by moment thing. Some moments I have good moments, some moments I have bad moments, some moments I have blissful moments. But as long as I do it that way, I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to eras.
All right. I would say my words. I'm a big believer in the fact that my words have power. So I have to watch what I say and how I say it. And because everything I'm saying, I believe. So, like, if I have faith that I'm going to be successful, I have to start talking and manifesting that in my day-to-day life so that energy comes back. So I'm working on my faith of my own words and how they relate to me, because it's one thing to say, oh, I'm going to make $1 million, and then it's another thing to say, I'm going to create an opportunity for wealth to come back to me. Now, it's different wording, but wealth, like by saying wealth, I'm leaving it very broad and very vague. So I know it's not just $1 million. It's going to be $1 million plus a house, plus a family, plus the car and all of the things that I want, that I consider to be wealth. So change my wording will change my outlook on my life, and it will start manifesting differently. It is spell work is every day when you wake up and you just say, I'm tired, or hey, ironically enough, saying good morning, because your morning, like it's a sign of grief and stuff. Not like that's why Grand Rising. I'm getting into saying Grand Rising a lot more. Like I'm rising to the next pinnacle of my life. I'm rising to whatever challenges I may face. And I have to have faith by me saying these things, manifesting these words. I have, like you guys were saying, I have the skills, I have the tool set, I have everything in front of me that I will ever need to handle everything that's going to come my way. So changing of my word, my vocabulary and my vernacular is how I'm working now.
Yeah.
Did I answer the question?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. That is it. Thank you for that. So, Christopher, in what ways do you face obstacles maintaining your faith? How do you strengthen and cultivate them?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this is a beautiful conversation, and I wish a lot more people were having it. I mean, out in the open. For me, it's mindset. I'm in the project, so you know you might hear some boom boom crack. But for me, it's mindset. There's something about knowing who you are as a person, but then for me, I can also be a people pleaser, and you know I want all to love and adore because I do my best to love and adore, but that isn't always reflected in real life. And so, you know, I would bend over backwards, you know, in all these yoga poses to make everybody else feel comfortable because I'm just a little dark Black boy with no value. Some deprogramming of my own to be like, all right, enough, 'tis enough. I done bent my spine to the limit, and still, it's not enough. My head is all the way on the floor backwards, and still it's not enough. So something about what I'm doing isn't right. Let me take my power back. let me love myself. Let me remind myself of my own self-worth, what God made me to be. No one can tell me who I am because I love both light and dark of myself. So no one can come up in my energy and be like, oh, let me tell you about yourself. No need, because I know who I am. That was the journey for the last 3 years was shedding all of the stuff that people project on you. You know what I mean? And it's like, they don't know no better, but you do. So you got to take that up with yourself and with God. And that has been wonderful to shed every, you know, fallacy of what I thought a good Christian is supposed to be. Thank God for Beyonce. Let's not forget about the church boys too.
Yeah.
All right? I'm gonna be up here posting cute little pics of my Black ass and saying God loves me.
Yeah, the mission Beyonce.
Thank God.
And no one's gonna tell me otherwise. All right? Because I spoke to God and God spoke to me and said, keep going.
Thank you so much for sharing. So intuitive, what about you?
What obstacles?
Yeah, what obstacles?
I would say just life in general. It's not easy being a human being on Earth, you know. It's not easy experiencing certain things. For example, I think it was about last year sometime or within the last 2 years. I'm not sure if this was something that was big in other states, but in California actually in the United States in general, they were considering, enforcing some changes in regards to like expression, like queer expression, so you're not able to hold hands in public and you're not able to get married and like things of such. And for myself, I never really processed that until it was implemented or until it started, it was talked about. And when you go through certain changes like that or things are brought up in that way, it affected my faith, my faith in regards to what's going to happen and how are we going to be able to be who we are. And I think that's a great example of how a circumstance can shift your faith, how it can kind of, make things a little bit murky, even when you're not in control. And so during those times, I try to find ways to become conscious, to get back to my center, to get back to like what the point was in the beginning. That helps me be able to like reconnect back to my faith, because I feel like faith as well, like you have to be comfortable with failing. You have to be comfortable with not being right. You have to be comfortable with making mistakes. Because I feel like with faith, that also builds like your knowing, your intuition, your discernment. And so, and it makes you wise. I feel like faith is wisdom as well. And so I just allow myself to soak up whatever circumstance I'm in and allow it to like expand my perspective. And that usually like what aids me in maintaining my faith.
That's deep.
Yeah, thank you for that.
that. I totally resonate with that. And I think I was gonna say that I feel like faith, dang, it was right there. It was right at the tip of my brain,
You
and
got
now
it.
it's gone. It always happens to me. Right when I'm gonna say something, it's gone. It's okay. It'll come back to me.
So let's go to androgyny. So what words of comfort or guidance would you offer someone struggling in their faith journey?
Well, I guess the first thing I would say is, or is actually a question: do you trust yourself? Do you trust yourself?
So what if the answer is
If you can't trust yourself, then you have to learn to trust yourself, because that's all faith is. We make faith bigger than what we have to simplify. So I would have to ask them, do they trust themselves? And based upon that answer, if they say yes, then you just keep going. If you trust yourself wholeheartedly, you keep going. You don't look back. You keep going. It's like with a car, you have the front mirror, and then you have the little rear view mirror right here. That rear view mirror is only for you to see where you came from, baby. You got that whole windshield to see where you're going. So if you trust yourself, then I want you to keep looking at that windshield, and I want you to keep going. Now, if you don't trust yourself, then it's time for you to go within, and it's time for you to go on that healing journey. Because that healing journey is going to help you cultivate that faith. When you start going on that journey and you start really thinking about everything you went through, everything that you've gone through, every experience, every lesson, it's going to start to click in your head that, oh my gosh, I made it through that. Whether I manifested, whether I prayed, whether I meditated, whether, whatever the case may be, I made it through that. So for people who are having issues, it's about, do you trust yourself? If you do, then you keep going. If you don't, then it's time to start working on yourself. It's time to start healing all of the traumatic trauma that you've experienced, all of the good, the bad, the ugly, the in between. It's time to go within.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. And so, Errol, it's the same question to you. What words of comfort or guidance would you offer someone struggling in the journey of faith?
Trust the process. There's nothing else I can say. Whatever will be be, and you need to open yourself up to the experience of it all. Like, you have to untrain your mind. You have to untrain everything. Like Androgeny was saying, like, let what you think you know go, because now you're dealing with forces and powers above you, and they're going to watch over you throughout this whole process, good, better, and different. Let them do their jobs. You do yours by living the life.
Love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Christopher, what about you?
I would say enjoy the journey. And also, I hope we can curse on here. Sit your ass down, get your beautiful ass down, and do some meditation.
I love it. Wish you could curse on here.
All you need and all you want and all you desire starts within. So do some meditation.
That's one of my favorite things to do.
Take some time. Yeah.
And what about you, into Swall?
What I would tell someone struggling with faith, right?
Mhm.
I would try to build a better understanding of who they are. And I say that from experience, because some people don't know how to have faith. They weren't taught, they weren't put in the right spaces to be able to understand what faith is. I'm Christian, but I'm also a spiritualist. So I believe in ancestors. I research the Orishas. I believe in being a medium, all that stuff. So I've been able to bridge the gap. But there's some people who have not been able to find their identity outside of what has been implemented on them from their upbringing. And so when it comes to faith, that's like a very personal relationship with self and with divinity. And a lot of the times when we're in spaces, like religious spaces or things of such, we don't feel like we're divine. We feel like we're lacking. So how are we able to create faith when we don't feel like we generate the energy to be able to receive faith? So I would try to build an understanding of why they feel that way. And then help them gain the tools and the resources to build that, because no one can create that for you. You have to go on that journey yourself, and then be able to say, okay, so what does faith look like with you, to you and your dynamic? You know, what does your God feel like to you? You know, what does that connection feel like to you? And then facilitate faith, because you can't have faith if you don't faith is like you know, knowing that if I travel on this boat from point A to point B, I'm going to make it. Like, I know the boat floats. I didn't make the boat, but I know it's going to float. I know the people in there are going to do their job. But if you don't know how to be a sailor, then how would you do it? And you know what I mean? And so you have to be the sailor in your life. You have to travel, tread the waters. You have to be able to make that journey. And so it's allowing yourself to be equipped with whatever it is for yourself, that is going to aid you on your journey. I can't fix that for you, but I can be here to help you remember and realize your purpose and your calling. And so that's my answer.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank y'all so much for sharing. So we have one last question for everybody. Have you noticed a unique struggle among Black queer people when it comes to faith, or when it comes to
Hell yeah.
yeah. So how can so give a little bit of that experience, or what you think that might be, and then give us a little bit about how you think we can try to work to understand and support each other.
Okay, I'm going to
Androgeny about
say
to go
this,
in.
and I know there may be some people that are not what I'm going to say. That's okay. I'm here for the tough love. What I've noticed is when it comes to faith, a lot of us don't have faith because faith is tied to religion. And there's a lot of us, majority of us, has had issues when it comes to religion. Not the church, because a church is nothing but a building. It is a building. It's the religion. And we have to detach faith from religion. Because, like I said with the first question, faith is nothing but trust. Okay? So we have to really start teaching or educating people that, okay, faith is trust. Like I said before, we have to simplify stuff. And the way that we're explaining faith is it's going over people's heads because of their experience. So we have to detach it from faith. We have to detach it from the religion aspect, and we have to start teaching people, hey, faith is trust. Faith is trust within yourself. Faith is trust within your fellow mankind. Faith is trust within your family. Faith is trust within whatever higher power that you believe in. Okay. Gosh, I just said I had something else and I just went blank. Damn it. I just went blank.
It happens to the best of us.
Oh, that's it. How do we support them is we have to educate people how to trust themselves. Because no one knows that we don't know how to trust ourselves because we've been indoctrinized and we've been programmed to think so much stuff. We don't even know how to trust ourselves. So we have to first teach ourselves or educate ourselves how to trust ourselves. Pay attention to what's going on. Prime example is, you know, with my ancestors. I asked my ancestors just the other night, how do I heal myself or how do I detach from the lineage line or the relatives? And sure enough, my uncle came to me in my dream and said, you just gotta let them go. Just let them go. And then next thing I know, I wake up because I'm hearing a dog howl. It's like 4:55 in the morning. I open my blinds. I can't tell if it's a coyote. I can't tell if it's a German Shepherd. But it was just howling and howling. And when I went back to sleep and I got back up, I was like, oh shit, that was my uncle. That was my uncle, you know, because he had a German Shepherd at one point. And since he's transitioned over, my aunt ended up getting a German Shepherd. So with that, you know, I just thought, I was like, okay, that's how so just let them go. And you just show me how to have faith in letting them go, how to just say it's okay. So yeah, I know that was, you know, long story, but yeah, in a nutshell, you have to teach people how to trust themselves. And that's how I was able to trust myself with my uncle. My uncle came to me in that dream and he showed himself in the flesh as a dog and all of that stuff. But yeah, we have to teach people how to trust themselves. And we have to detach faith from religion as much as people don't like it. That's what we're going to have to do. And that's what it's leading us to do. That's what we're leaning towards is detaching from religion and focusing more on spirit and you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally resonate with that. I always say, you know, I trust the universe. You know, there's something about, I don't know what it is. I don't know what to call it. Some people say source, some people say, yeah, but I just say the universe. And
yeah. Whether you say mother, father, God, universe, source, prime creator, those are the six that I use. Because I mean, to be honest, God is mother. whether people want to realize it or not. God is mother. We forget the feminine aspects of stuff. And God is feminine. God, as Ariana Grande said, God is a woman. God is both. God is an androgynous being.
That's true.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of what Androgyny just said, but I'm going to challenge. I'm going to take it into a different direction. I think for Blacks, especially Black queer, we have our faith in a lot of things come from our history and the revisit and the learning of it. So we learned we were kings and queens, we learned that we were slaves, the indentured servant, whatever you want to call it, you weren't treated like us. And the very few times we got to see us at our best, it wasn't good enough for others. So it trains us a little bit to have faith in the wrong outcome. You know, the old saying, like, you have to work twice as hard to get half of what they got. Why do I even want what they have? Like, we put a lot of stock in like the way we used to be treated instead of acknowledging how we are being treated now. We are everywhere. We are seen. They cannot deny us as much as they want to. We, instead of taking care of your babies now, guess what we're doing? We're creating trends. We are in music. We are pioneering industries that people never thought we would be in. And we need to start having faith in how far we are, where we are now, and accepting it wholly. I have a weird conspiracy theory. Judge me if you need to, but Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were both right. They were, and I think this goes into how we manage the faith a little bit. Yes, we should police ourselves. Yes, we should hold our, like Malcolm X was very much of holding people accountable for their actions. Not like through everything, how you treat me is how I'm going to give it right back. But in turn, Martin Luther King was, you have to, there needs to be a level of peace there. Yes, hold people accountable, hold them accountable. No one's saying not to, but find a way to have the conversation to where it can be a learning experience and not a dictatorship. So I think once we like find the balance between these two ideals of left and right, up, down, whatever, once we find a way to harmonize and figure out a good middle ground, I think faith we will have in ourselves and how we perceive ourselves will change. So that's kind of where I'm at with this right now. I feel like faith in the Black, especially the Black queer experience, we need to not stop looking backwards, but start accepting the fact that yes, that did happen. You can't deny the past is a fact. It happened. This took place. It's now having faith that because it took place there, then the payout in my future is going to be even better. Like I said in the last one, I thank who I was yesterday. I give gratitude and acknowledgement to the struggles, my pains, the love and the loss that I experienced yesterday, because without those yesterdays, there would not be a today. And my tomorrow is going to be even better. So we have to start having faith in that type of sense.
Yeah,
I'm done. Welcome to my TED.
I love it. Thank you for your perspective. Chris, can you shed some light on the same topic?
Yeah, I agree with, honestly, I agree with what's both been said. I would just like to add that it needs to be put into action. Even I can be very ethereal. up in the crown chakra. We're, we're meditating. We're, love and light energy. We got to bring it down to the earth, down and dirty. So I've always believed that we need to get back to that spiritual journey from, girl to woman, from boy to man. There needs to be some sort of spiritual journey. We are thrown to the wolves. You 18 now, you gotta be an adult. But we don't mature until 25. So like, what we doing? What are we doing? Whose time are we on? Because it's given colonized. It's given very colonized behavior. So, that's on that. We get that. What I'm seeing is that, especially with the queer community, they're very spiritually enlightened beings. And they use drugs, a lot of them, to remove themselves from that they see day to day to day, the disrespect. Forget it. So we have to hold our own. We have to hold up our own community and bridge those generational divides. I can't tell maybe my family will watch this, maybe they won't, but I'm literally trying to get them to stop saying good morning. And even that is labored. Why are you telling me good morning? I'm not in mourning. I am sun rising. Okay? I am royal rising. Me, you see me, I'm not mourning. You mourning? Like, you have to. And they get mad, and they didn't understand. And they kept telling me, oh, this is such a wonderful day. Good morning. Stop saying good morning.
I still say good morning.
It's a conditioning thing.
We have to keep pushing and pushing, because it's not like they're not trying to get out of the same loop that they've been in. We were in a generation where man and woman married, but they beating on each other and they still stayed together. Why?
Right.
We're not there no more. So we shouldn't be thinking that no more. And I got online and I was like, stop acting like it's the day that you popped out your mama's vagina. We in 2023. Act like it, okay? Some people are acting like it's in 1970s. Why? Why are you doing that to yourself? God loves you. So, we have to hold each other up, and whatever divides we see, we have to call it out and call it out and call it out, because it takes 30 days for a new habit. So we got another 30 years.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes. And last but not least, into the swole, can you share some of your experiences with the question at hand?
Yes. So I do feel like there is a dynamic with Black queer folk and faith. And I feel like that stems from not ever really being accepted, or having an understanding that you're not accepted because you don't have to hear it from somebody to recognize it. In the Black community, just in general, there's a lot of negating away from mental health. I'm also a mental health advocate. I utilize herbs and other things to introduce and implicate a more holistic approach for people who want to wean off of psychotropic medication, or people who want to just integrate a more holistic approach because of how conscious it allows you to continue to be. I do believe in Western medicine, but I just feel like sometimes it sedates you rather than allows you to be filled. And so when we speak about the Black community and queer folk, there's a lot of things that aren't communicated. You don't have open conversations as a child. You don't have resources to be able to speak about what you feel. And then you're judged for being in your truth. So you start to like build this life, and okay, well, if I'm going to be in my truth, that means I'm going to experience oppression. If I'm operating in my truth, that means that I'm not going to be able to qualify for what another person can qualify for. If I'm operating in my truth, that means that my identity is not going to be digestible for people. So I either have to act out or I have to minimize myself and fit myself into a box. And so I definitely do feel like that is the thing. I do feel like as a Black queer person, it's hard to have faith, because why would I have faith when everybody is treating me, or why would I have faith in everybody else when people don't even have faith in me? You don't trust the fact that I'm operating in my truth because this is what feels comfortable to me. You're judging me. And if I have to live a life with feeling judged, then why have faith in you? And I believe that that's why people start to really build these walls around them. And even in the work that I do, part of my job is seeing you, allowing you to be who you are, not minimizing your expression, understanding that you're angry, understanding that you're sad, understanding that emotions are energy emotion. So it's important for an individual to allow that to be expressed, then leave that in, because that's what creates these traumatic experiences that go from lineage to lineage, or it creates these imbalances within us, which creates disease, things of such. So I think that it's a heavy thing. Is there a second part to the question?
Yeah, how can we work to understand and support one another?
I think if we start seeing each other as a collective rather than separate, I think that will help. We've all, like, collectively as human beings, we have one, I believe we have one source, one mind, in a sense. So we all are a piece of each other. So if we allow ourselves to detach away from being so included and allow ourselves to be in the perspective and the viewpoint standpoint, we can really receive people and handle people in the way that they deserve. And a lot of times people need someone just to receive them rather than trying to change them. And so, like, I would tell people, there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of things that people go through, especially queer Black people. And instead of you trying to force your own mindset on them, because my mom does this too, force your own mindset or your own understanding, you don't have to accept them, but just respect them. And how you respect them shows how you respect yourself. So just as much as I would tell a person who I would like to give grace to the Black and queer community, I also want to tell the Black and queer community to start being relentless about what respect looks like to you, and about how you are powerful for being in your truth. And that the reason why they're feeling the way that they're feeling is because they do not wake up in the morning and like who the hell that they are, because they choose to implement this conditioning on them, and they're walking in torment. So you can expect somebody to receive you who doesn't even receive themselves. So I feel like it's on both ends. We have to find our power, or reclaim our power, and understand that we are powerful, to understand that those traumatic experiences that we went through made us who we are. But then also those other people on the other side need to take a seat and allow us to teach them something, because you are not all knowing, because you want to conform to whatever the hell you want to conform to. So that's what I would say.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
It is giving fight your traumas before you fight me. See, I told you. Get into it. Oh, I appreciated that. And I appreciate all of you. And thank you guys again for opening up this space for us. Like, these are the conversations I want to keep having. And I love everybody on this.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody for coming out today. I keep forgetting, it's night. For y'all, it's daytime. Yeah, this has been absolutely amazing. Before we go, I'm gonna get everyone to tell us where we can find you, what's your social media handles, all that good stuff. Let's start with Androgyny.
See, I wanted to copy on something that Chris said. Christopher, baby, I understand better. No, I don't like using understand. I understand that, you're trying to get your kinfolk to get on the bandwagon. honey, that's not your job. Don't worry about that. As long as you do what you're doing, you just set the blueprint. They got the blueprint now. Let them follow the blueprint.
That's
Don't
true.
worry about that because trust me, I do the same thing with my old man and my old lady. I try to get them to understand X, Y, and Z. But guess what? That's not my job. My job is to set the blueprint, is to debunk the shit, is to be that light as the black sheep, and to go on with my business. And if they want to follow, if they want to get on the bandwagon, they'll have the blueprint and they know what to do. I'm just saying. But you can, oh gosh, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok. Instagram is Self-Love Organics. TikTok is Self-Love Organics 22. You can find me at my website, selfloveorganics.com. But to make it easy on everybody, I typed in my link tree. And my link tree has everything that you need to know when it comes to Instagram, website, classes, workshops, research projects that I'm doing. Linktree has all the info. And that is linktr.ee/androgyny angel.
Period. I love it. Thank you. Eros?
So I put the link tree already for my business. You guys can follow the Garden of Eden on FetLife, on Discord. I also have a Discord server. It's part of the link as well. It's on the link tree. We have a podcast that is coming out very soon. That will be on Twitch. We have the official website and Instagram at the_the.h. And to get to know me more personally, like my handle says YK_Eros. The YK can stand for Yaoi King or Young King. No matter how you want to put it, it's there. This is like the cherry on top to my entire weekend. And again, thank you guys. Like,
Love it.
I feel blessed and worthy, and it's a new feeling for me, and I'm owning it now. And it's a breath of fresh air.
And Chris, it's on you.
I again just want to say I'm very grateful for this space. Say hi, baby.
Hi,
My
cutie.
lily. I love her. She's the Queen Castle. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok under RE Islands, Robert Ellis Islands, but it's just RE and then Islands. Is that a baby? Ah!
Are we bringing up the fur baby?
I'm trying to find her a husband, so.
His name is Simba. Unfortunately, he's fake, but please, we can still marry them off.
We are not married.
He could be the cuckold in the situation. It's fine.
Listen, she's already been, she ain't having no babies. She just needs companionship.
Oh, listen, Simba too. We see what I mean? You trust the process?
Intuitive, it's on you. How can we find you?
I was trying to grab my cats right now. They were coming inside, so I was trying to show them, but then now they know where to be found. But so my handle name is Intuitive Swole. Intuitive with an SWOLE. I'm on Instagram as well as TikTok. I have a website called vividlotus.org. I put that in the comments. I am also on Clubhouse. The Soul Eats is the name of the club that I have on Clubhouse. I do readings there. We have talk groups. We speak about all kind of stuff. I'm also on Bigo, BIGO as well. Intuitive Swole is my handle name, but it has 3 3s at the end of it. On there, I have something called the Safe Space as well. My goal with that is to be able to bring value back to broadcasting, social media broadcasting, to negate away from all the negativity and all that stuff, and be able to have safe spaces that we can create for people to be transparent in who they are. And then I also have a podcast called The Safe Space as well. It's on iTunes and on Spotify. And on that podcast, I talk about everything. I just recently did a episode on like the aspects, the astrological aspects leading into the new calendar year, and how some people believe in starting the calendar year off in January, and some people believe starting it off at the end of March, you know, and just things of such. And so, yeah, that's what I got.
Yes. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's technically the New Year, because we're about to be spring equinoxes tomorrow.
I love that. Yeah, so before we go, we always like to do positive affirmations. So I would like everyone to leave us with a positive affirmation.
I'm gonna let everyone go first. I gotta think.
I got one. All right. Be here, be you, be now. Being here means being in take unapologetic self, and being now is being in the moment, being present and embracing all that is.
I love that.
Oh yeah, I woke up on the woke side of the bed.
I think mine will be you are strong no matter what anyone says.
Yeah. Since you know, the conversation is about faith, we just take it where it can go. Faith without works is dead.
I got one. Faith is trust, and trust is faith, and I trust myself.
I love that.
So let me write that down. That's a little.
I got one.
Okay.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
I am always being guided in the right direction.
Period.
Come say hi.
I'm going to borrow one from. I'm going to borrow one from.
Are we all gap here? Are we all gap here?
And then I got
I'm going to borrow one from
this
yoga.
too. Say hi.
Oh,
Do they get along with each other?
I have a pit bull too. I have 3 cats, 2 dogs, and a snake.
Damn, you busy over here.
Thank you, guys.
I wanted to say that I'm going to take one from yoga. I'm going to take one from the yoga practice Satnam, which is truth. Truth is my identity.
What you know about that side? Nah, period.
I love it.
Love it.
Well, that concludes our session for today, you guys. That was beautiful. Thank you all so much for sharing your stories,